Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! How y'all doing out there? Let's go, everybody. Get up. Come on. The day's almost over. You know what time it is, you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and of course you haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Good and raring to go today. It's already in the middle of the week, and I am hating on it because we missed a Monday, and I almost feel like the week's almost over. Everybody's talking about it. It's like, it's a short week, Reese. No, it's not a short week. It is not. It is a rush. Chill out. You need the days to be slow. You need them to be. I keep trying to tell folks that. Life is short. The days need to be longer. You understand me? Life is short. Before you know it, it's gone. 365 days gone like that. We're already getting ready to go into June. Okay? Seriously. Life is short. Let the days be long. Good to see you, Fred. Thank you for checking out. Scallywags and nutmeggers, you can always join us live and direct on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, and where you can watch the program. I'm wearing a hat today. You don't have to look at my baldy bean, as we used to call it back in the day. I'm rocking a hat today. I was looking at myself online yesterday. Yeah, I do. And I'm vain like that. I said, no, you look good with the baldy bean, but you got to throw on a hat. And sort of leave the dance with the girl you came with, you know? So I'm back to wearing the hat again. It doesn't matter. Just last night, I did something I do rarely, and that is I will write a Substack article, or I'll just put an article on X, because X has, formerly Twitter, has that little feature where you can write an article and put it there. So I did it yesterday because Chris Murphy's got a new book. It's called The Crisis of Something. I don't care. Some book. And he was everywhere he needed to be. ABC over at Good Morning America and The View over with the Harpies. Trying to get his feminine on. And, Chris Murphy is an interesting dude. He is, he's a carnival barker. In the sense that he has no real direction, but he keeps barking. Every day he's telling people the direction the Democrat Party needs to go to, but no one's listening. He is featured everywhere. He's always got something to say, and no matter what, they will platform him. Chris Murphy wants something to say about where the Democrat Party needs to go today, tomorrow, and in the future. And the news media laps it up. Sure, Chris, come on by. And Chris comes on by and he says some nonsensical stuff and he leaves. He comes back for more. I've got another idea. Okay, Chris, come on over. Say something. He comes over and he says something. Then he goes home. Alone. I'm kidding. Anyway. Then Chris Murphy's got something to say about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an awful president, and yesterday he had a ham sandwich. And that's a horrible thing, and I've got something to tweet about the ham sandwich and how pig farmers are losing all of their assets because of Donald Trump. I need to go on MS now. Hurry up. Come on, let me get on there. Yep, Chris, come on by. But now he's got a book out. And his book, don't be fooled, is about collectivism. That's what it is. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is about collectivism. Chris is onto something. He is. And it is going to take root. I promise you. If he doesn't screw it up, he could actually do something. He can actually forge the direction of the Democrat Party because it sounds great. The common good. He was on George Stephanopoulos' Good Morning America, because the rest of those folks don't matter over there, talking about how we need to get together, get off the devices, regulate social media, and join the community. It's good-natured socialism, where we're all hand in hand, swaying back and forth. But we're not singing Kumbaya, we're singing We Are the World. You know, things like that. We are the world. You might be Republican. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing, but he may be onto something because it sounds great. Why does it sound great? Because socialism is getting a bad rap. It's not working. It's not. People are rejecting it, and they know it. They know it. Chris Murphy has been solely a member of dividing this country based on party lines. You know? Don't like immigrants? You're a racist. Don't like porn in kids' schools? You're not inclusive. Don't like drag queen story hour? You're a homophobe and a bigot. Now all of a sudden, we are the world. You might be MAGA. Collectivism. The common good. He's all about the common good now. We can all get together and love one another, regardless if you're on the right or the left. We all see the world the same way. Hey, don't take my word for it. You got to take his. You got to take his. He is knee-deep in this, folks.
People in this country know that there is a deeper story in this country, and that is we are a less connected culture today. We are a less happy nation than we have been in a long time, and that's because we have lost a focus on what I call in the book the common good. We are a nation that has really become obsessed with materialism. We are transitioning to a nation focused on individual achievement rather than the health of our communities. And the book says, for all the things that divide left and right, abortion, immigration, climate change, everybody in this country wants to live in a strong community where you're living for each other, not just for yourself. Everybody wants to get out of this cycle of isolation where technologies are drawing our kids away from socialization. Everybody wants our economy to be less cold, dignity and value to come back to work rather than feeling like the only thing that matters in our economy is profit. The common good is about living in a world where you care about yourself, but you care about others as well. And government has a lot to do with rebuilding that sense of the common good.
Oh, it's fantastic. The government has a role. The secret sauce behind that statement is, just in case you bastards don't get together and do it yourselves, government has a role to play in all of this. We as a government can strong-arm these people into collectivism, caring about your community. Look at you, trying to make life better for yourselves and your children. What about the people who live down the block? What about your neighbors? As a collective, we should come together and join the common good. It's moral. It's socialism, but whatever, it's collectivism. Socialist leaning, no, but collectivism. And government can forge the way. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris Murphy can screw this up. And how he can do that is by continuing to open his mouth. Now, I'm going to say this, and as much as people in politics listen to this show, and who will say, Reese, why'd you have to say that? I'm going to say to you, shut up! I said it because it's true. Just because you can't say it doesn't mean, or you won't say it, doesn't mean it isn't true. So sit down and listen. Chris Murphy should not be the person who is the spokesperson for collectivism. He should not. Why? Because Chris is stupid. That's right, I said it. He is stupid. Why is he stupid? Simple. A man his age should not get a basic civics question this wrong. Never. And especially a guy who has a law degree. What am I talking about? It's this quote.
Can government, can politics do that, create that kind of community?
Well, I mean, we're celebrating our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and in that document it says government is supposed to help people pursue happiness. When I talk about the crisis of isolation, sometimes people make fun of me. They say, oh, well, government isn't here to help people make friends, right?
Did you hear what Chris said there? Chris is an idiot.
Can government, can politics do that, create that kind of community?
Well, I mean, we're celebrating our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and in that document it says government is supposed to help people pursue happiness.
Now, the average Nimrod knows that the Declaration of Independence makes no such claim. Ever. And as a justification to think that government should be in charge of your pursuit of happiness isn't ill-informed. It's stupid. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There is no document that says that government provides that for you in the Declaration of Independence, and Chris has got to be an idiot to not know that. That if he interpreted that statement to say the government and not God, our Creator, what other excuse is there? Every person who listened to that, I couldn't believe he said it. When I watched it, I went, huh? I keep the Declaration of Independence in my car. I keep it on my desk next to my computer. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I keep it in my wallet. But the bottom line is I keep it. You never know when you're going to be pulled over, okay? Constitution's handy. Truth be told, couldn't believe it. I went, This guy wrote a book? And he said this? Now, again, I wrote my Substack yesterday and posted it. Please, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can read it yourself. I think it's there. And if it's not there, just go to my Facebook page or my X page. All of them are Reese on the Radio. And go read it yourself. And it's called Chris Murphy's Dangerous Collectivism. Because if he doesn't understand that your pursuit of happiness is given to you by God, that is your inalienable right, and he believes that those things are given to you by government, he is a dangerous individual. Not because he believes that he should or the government should wield such power. It's that he's too stupid to know that he has no right to. And you might remember several months ago, in fact, I'll go so far as a year ago, Simsbury Joe will remember it vividly, where we talked about how stupid people can be the most dangerous of them all. And that's the reason why I call Chris Murphy dangerous. He's writing books. He's on television all the time. He's allowed to say anything and everything, unchallenged, unchecked. He is platformed to lie and to BS the world. This man wants to be president or, far worse, a cabinet member for a Democrat administration where he will have considerable power. I believe Chris Murphy, deep down in his bones, is looking at Joe Biden's administration and saying, hold my beer. He is a radical. And the reason why he's really, really radical and dangerous is because he can't sit still, and he's always changing his mind like a teenage girl. He can't stop injecting himself into the narrative. We need to do this. We need to do that. We should do more of this. We should do more of that. He is a guy without power seeking all of it. Do you understand that? Think about what I just said again. He is a guy seeking power. All of it. You have to be very careful with people like that. I'm not saying any names. I'm not going to compare him to certain individuals in history. But I told you, the man needs a welfare check. He does. I'm sorry. He just does. You guys think I'm crazy. Listen, mark my words. Mark my words. Something's up. And these are the flailings of someone who is getting no traction. And he's desperate. He is desperate. Every time I turn around, he's changing this team to that team, to this idea, to that idea. He's everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. Well, I should say he's everywhere and getting nowhere. And that's frustrating. He talks about anger and frustration all the time. Do I have enough time to say this? No. God, this sounds so horrible. You know what? I'm going to wait until the next break. Stand by. I'm going to say the thing that is difficult for me to say. Okay? It's very difficult for me to say. Because I'm not trying to be mean-spirited. But when I say the guy needs a welfare check, I'm not kidding you. Stand by. I'll tell you what I mean when we get back. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
That's weird. My computer's doing weird, fidgety things. I don't know why that is. Let me have to check on that. Must have some weird internet access problem. Anyway, we're back. Reese on the radio. By the way, Johnny Cruz, Jonathan DeBarros are on the program later on today. Check them out. They are going to be very interesting conversations. I know Jonathan DeBarros was on with I think it was Gary Byron yesterday. I think he was on with him yesterday. I caught a little bit of that. And he'll be here today as he is trying to win that nomination to be the Republican candidate against Johanna Hayes in the 5th District. We'll talk to him about the convention, apparently some back and forth that took place with his opponent for the Republican seat, Cruz. We'll talk to him about that a little bit. And Johnny Cruz, we'll talk to him about his influencing prowess in Hartford. I think this kid is so funny and so entertaining. I love every bit of what he's doing. So I want to introduce him to you so that you can sort of get to know him like I have online. Yeah, I'm fixing this camera here for a second here, so forgive me. It should be up and running now. Looks like we're good. All right, there we go. Back to my point that I was saying about Chris Murphy. I have to give a little background here so I'm not just throwing grenades, as they say. My wife and I are watching this TV show on Hulu called Paradise. And I'm going to sum up the show real simple. It's a, extreme, what's it called? An elimination, extreme level event. Like Deep Impact or Armageddon. And it's a volcano that erupts and completely destroys, the earth. And they build an underground city in Colorado. And the president was played by James Marsden. You might know him from the Marvel films. He played Cyclops, but he's everywhere now. He's on a lot of these TV shows. It's like a resurgence of James Marsden. Anyway, his character, who's the president of the United States, is murdered very early in the series. And are you watching this? Do you watch this show?
I already watched it.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah, it was decent.
Okay. I really love it. I'm slow walking through this entire episode. Through this entire series. So, in essence, that the whole bottom line is, but before the president is killed, before the calamity takes place, there's a guy who's trying to warn the president, who, in essence, ends up being the guy who takes his life. He tries to warn everybody that this stuff is about to go on, and during a presser, this guy brings a gun to the presser. He pretends to be a cameraman who's there at a press conference, and remember the guy who's working at the library, right? He pulls out a gun and he says, so anyway, I'm sleeping. Later on that night, I wake up in the middle of the night, cold sweat. And I'm like, why did I even think that? And I've been saying to myself recently, every time I see Donald Trump in these press gaggles, I'm going, what's to stop someone? Just what? What's to stop him? And why do I think this? By the way, you wanted to interject. What did you want to interject about before I say this?
Nothing. I was just going to comment about
the show.
About the show.
You said it's decent. Do you really like it or kind of like it?
I can't say I really like it, but I thought it's good enough to watch.
Yeah, it is good enough to watch. It's compelling. Yeah. It's compelling.
Yeah. I just watch a lot of shows like that, and it's not one of the It's not at the top of the list. It's not at my top of the list.
Okay. Well, what's the other one that you like? The one that Tyler, the military one that Tyler Sheridan produced with Zoe Saldana. The one that you showed me the clip with Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, Lioness.
Yeah.
But that's not the end of the world.
No. But that's just one of those Tyler Sheridan shows that really, really does well. Everybody likes that show. Isn't Nicole Kidman in that too?
She is.
Yeah. I got to watch that show.
You haven't watched it?
No, I tried. I tried to watch the first episode, but some odd reason I got sidetracked and watching other stuff. But I'm going to go back and watch it. You say it's really good.
Yeah, it is. It is really good.
Okay, I'm going to go back and watch that. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make was when I saw that scene in the movie, I immediately woke up in this cold sweat going, it's getting to that point, in my view. Because the news media has done everything they can to malign this president. They have. Everything under the sun. And nothing has worked. His support has grown. It's continued to grow. He gets win after win and win. Look at the primaries that just happened the last couple of days, right? Every person he endorsed won their primary, got rid of rhinos or alleged rhinos in the party. He is making his party his party. He's owning it. His reach has grown more and more. I was just talking to Reg from Hot 93.7. Even he said Donald Trump's reach is massive. I said, why don't you compare his reach to Barack Obama's? He goes, nope, Donald Trump's is much bigger than that because people really have an influence on it. I thought that was amazing. Reggie thinks that Barack Obama doesn't have the reach that Donald Trump does. That's interesting. But guess what? A lot of people do believe that. And that's the threat. So in my view, I go, what's to stop a member from the press, if not somebody in Congress, from pulling off a stunt? They've been led to believe that assassinating him would be an honor. They'd be a martyr in doing so. Their base has cheered it on. They celebrated. And we're not talking about just the fringe radicals who are at pro-Palestinian parades. We're talking about educators. We're talking about business leaders. We're talking about soccer moms who have had their lives turned upside down celebrating the assassination attempts of this president. And in fact, it's become so commonplace to malign this guy and to call him everything under the sun. And when I mean everything under the sun, take Chris Murphy.
What we've already seen is immensely incriminating. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring.
That's what he said. Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring. He said that just openly. He was in Texas saying it. Just absolutely condemning the president and accusing him of all types of crimes. So when I'm sitting up here saying that these so-called reasonable people who can't seem to control themselves and their behavior and the things that they say. And when I mean things that they say, libelous, slanderous things that they say. Why? Because they cannot believe the amount of reach that this man has. Who's to say that they would not take matters into their own hands? Forget about their fringe and all of these bozos that are, like the guy who went up to the White House just recently, whoever that lunatic was. We got Secret Service agents who were caught by Project Veritas, who were actually on the grounds talking about how much they hate the commander-in-chief, the guy that they have sworn an oath to protect. Project Veritas caught this guy saying, I hate my job and I hate the person we have to protect. That's what we're dealing with. And so when I see these people losing their minds and they're not getting the traction that they get in Donald Trump's reach or his influence is growing and growing and growing, more people are leaving the Democrat Party and joining MAGA or joining the conservative movement. And we're not just talking about, the crazy old white folks. We're talking about black and brown folks. We see people right now at Hartford. Ask Mike Ortiz. Ask Eddie Torres. Ask Johnny Cruz when he's in here later. They'll tell you the same thing. There was a growing number of people in the inner cities who are supporting Donald Trump, who are supporting conservatism. And when people lose power, when people lose prestige, if you will, when they no longer become the cool party that everybody wants to be a part of, the fringe in them comes out. And I'm sorry. I look at Chris Murphy, and I went and checked just to make sure if I was making a fair comparison. But, sometimes I think of some of these individuals, maybe not Chris Murphy. Maybe there are some others that are far worse than him. But there are some parallels that are there of a guy like John Wilkes Booth. Just overly obsessive with the man. Can't beat him politically, so you'll malign him publicly. Say the most outrageous things because your ideas suck. Just like this nonsense about suggesting that the government gives you the inalienable right of the pursuit of happiness. That he believes that the government gives you those things, that's obsession with government power. And how Donald Trump in some way is eroding your power or the power of government and giving people the ability to think and believe and to act on their own is a threat to you. So you have to start telling people about collectivism. Don't go for the corner office. Barack Obama said that too. Don't pursue those things. Don't get wealthy. Credentialism is another one. Don't graduate from college so you can be better than your neighbors. Credentialism. This guy just got an honorary degree at Wesleyan, gave a commencement speech. Credentialism. A cult. He calls that a type of cult. Thinks the internet is a cult. He's all over it. Like he doesn't even see the hypocrisy. That's the reason why I'm saying he's all over the place and nowhere. I should say he's everywhere going nowhere. And at what point does it become desperate? At what point do all of the issues in your life, as they continue to fail, everything, no matter what it is, relationships, family, politics, your pursuit of greater office, hovering around 1% in the polls. Nobody knows who you are, but you're everywhere. How is it that people don't know who I am? I'm everywhere. At what point does that crack? At what point does a person go, enough? I've got to do something. He hasn't tried anything different. Neither has many of these people. They haven't tried anything different. I look at this guy, what's his name? Al Green. What did all of that nonsense get him at the State of the Unions? Holding up signs, shaking his cane at the president. What did that all get him? Ousted. He was a media darling for standing up to President Trump. Where's he today? Even his own party voted him out. What do you think that does to a man? What do you think that does to a human being? When you do anything and everything you can to gain notoriety, to show everyone, I'm fighting, and it goes nowhere. What do you get in exchange? Bye, Al. I'm writing books. I'm doing tours around the country. I'm holding speeches and rallies. All these people are applauding me. They're buying my book. What's my polling numbers look like? You're at a 2. Damn it. What can I do? Desperation. You get desperate. I'm just saying. I'll take a break. Welfare check on aisle 2. We'll be back.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Let me grab a call real quick. Patrick. How you doing, Patrick? He is in Manchester. How are you, sir?
Good, Reese. How are you?
I'm all right. What do you got?
Just a very quick comment. You were talking about Murphy earlier. I mean, he's going on all these TV stations that nobody's watching.
This is also true. People would watch him if he went on a place like Fox. At least then he'd get some traction.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you add up the 3 you mentioned, nobody watches them.
Yeah.
So that was all. That was all.
Oh, that was it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you're 100% right, without a doubt. Short and sweet.
But,
thank you, man. Yeah, he's 100% right. He's never going to go in these other places. He's allowed to say anything and everything. It's so funny. If you actually watch the George Stephanopoulos interview, George Stephanopoulos has no interest in even talking to Chris Murphy. His claim to fame is that he was literally plucked by the likes of Barack Obama, which I think he's been riding on that ever since he was. All right, so Barack Obama says, this is the guy. But everything that Barack Obama touches turns to dust, to absolute dust. He has no influence. And that's the crazy part about Donald Trump and Barack Obama as we look at both of these presidencies. You can say without a doubt that Barack Obama was a cult of personality. The late Charles Krautheimer said at the election of Donald Trump that the reason why Barack Obama was so angry was because he knew his entire legacy at that moment was written in sand. Because Donald Trump was going to erase every part of that. He was going to be the consequential president, good or bad. He was. Donald Trump changed the presidency in a way that Barack Obama could have, but failed to. What I mean by that is not that because Barack Obama had to do anything bold. That wasn't the point. Is that Barack Obama was black, and that was it. That's what every person has to reconcile with. Barack Obama was black. End of transmission. Because I would ask any one of them, I don't care who you are or where you're from, tell me the signature achievement. And when I say achievement, not something that failed as a result of said achievement, because that's not an achievement. You say, I climbed Mount Everest, but I only went up 20 feet. It's not an achievement. I climbed it. I did not reach the top. Barack Obama, if you want to go to the Affordable Care Act, he did. He ushered in the Affordable Care Act. Bravo. Where's it at today? Is it affordable? No, absolutely not. It's straight garbage.
Technically, in today's climate and society, if you go 20 feet on Mount Everest, that is very much an actual achievement.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's right.
You don't have to go to the top.
You have to go to the top. It's like I climbed part of it. Right, you can put it in your resume and you don't even have to put it there. I climbed Mount Everest. How far did you get? 20 feet, but I climbed it. I took the plane all the way there. You're right. That's right, Lori, with the help of SCOTUS. Yeah, but beyond that, what was he? He was empty. It was an empty suit. And I'm sorry if that's the case. When you look at Donald Trump, there are thousands of things that you can mention with regard to him. You know it, and I know it. Even if it's untrue, you have hundreds of things to think of off the top of your head. When it comes to Donald Trump, you don't even remember the Barack Obama presidency anymore. How do I know that? Can I give you a perfect example? It's my perfect example. I say it all the time. Whenever somebody says to me, when was America ever great? I don't remember one time when America was great. I go, funny, I remember precisely when it was great. It's November 6, 2008. What day was that? Well, you Negroes were dancing on the street in Harlem when Barack Obama got elected. I watched you. You were on the news. This was the greatest country known to man. You were all dancing. There was a block party. The block party of the world. You were singing his name. Obama, Obama. Greatest country in the world. And what in that moment? What do you mean when America was great? That day. I was there. We all witnessed it. It was live. The revolution had been televised. It was brought to you by Nike. I'm sorry, that's my favorite part of the joke. Truth is, that's what. You guys forgot about that day. And you had 8 years of it, and you forgot it. It means nothing. It's completely washed away. His presidency wasn't even a blip. It was 8 years, and you guys act like it didn't even happen. When you see the guy, you don't really, it's like, when was he president? Take the L. If I were to look at both of those presidencies, and so can you. You can look at both of those presidencies. You can completely erase those 8 years. They don't matter anymore. They don't. Okay, that's right. I apologize, Lori. I forgot the Obama phone, the Affordable Care Act, and the Obama phone. Let's get to the newsroom. John Silva's in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back in a bit.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Again, I'm just confirming. We've got Pat Tomasewicz. I think that's how you pronounce his name, or I could be wrong. He's the attorney for Joe Magnano. He's going to be on the show next week, Thursday at 5. We're just confirming that. He was trying to be on today, but we have too many guests in, and it's a whole bunch of things going on. So it's difficult to sort of cram everybody in when they do that. So, Roland. George Stephanopoulos makes you think of Snuffleupagus. That's what we've always called him every day. That's interesting. We've always called him that since I was a kid. Another one that we used to do is, hey, you know what? Why have we not seen any Hare Krishnas anywhere? Have you seen any? Do you remember them? Hare Krishnas. Do you remember them? You never, they're usually the guys, they're wearing like flowy outfits. They're bald. Usually they almost look like Chinese monks, but they're usually bald headed and they're at the airports and they're always, very peaceful and they've got symbols. No, okay, look up Hare Krishna, but we don't see them anymore. So when my friend and I, Jamie Montgomery, we would see them. They would do the parade. They would have a Hare Krishna parade down Fifth Avenue in the springtime or in the summer. And when we would see them, they, of course, would let anyone join, their festivities. And I remember one summer in the mid-'90s, we were going down Fifth Avenue, and we were doing the Tom Willis. For those of you who know what that dance is, the Tom Willis. Think, Tom Willis, the Jeffersons. We would be doing that dance, and we would be singing, because they always say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Hare. So Jamie and I used to say, Henry Kissinger, Henry Kissinger. I still get a kick out of it every time I say it. That's what I always thought they were saying. I'm like, what's this group? Why are they praising Henry Kissinger? I'm sorry. It's a personal joke, and I know some people in here are saying, you're such a lunatic. Yes, I know. I was in my 20s. And yes, it just, I don't know. I thought it was funny. Just thought it was. Rand is in Broadbrook. Hello, Rand. How are you?
They are called Moonies, not Christmas. Moonies.
Okay, they're called what? Moonies or loonies?
Moonies. Moonies. Don't you remember the Reverend Sun Young Moon?
Yes, that's correct. Reverend Sun Young Moon. Didn't it? What news organization did he own back in the day?
I don't remember.
I want to say it was UPI, but I could be wrong. But go ahead.
They were all Moonies. They made more money selling seafood than anything at all. They were one of the largest wholesalers of seafood.
Really?
In New England. Yeah.
And these are the people I'm confusing with the Hare Krishnas?
Yes.
Oh, so wait a minute. Didn't they all, but wait a minute. Who are the people who used to do the Hare Krishna? That's not the same guys?
No, the Moonies were, they were the people you'd see in the airports, outside the malls, at public gatherings, all the Moonies. Okay,
because I know that I saw the guys wearing the salmon-colored, flowy outfits. They were almost looked like jumpers. And they would always have little triangles or little symbols. And, they would just dance around. They were very free-flowing, very kind and giving. And I just remember they used to say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Hare. It was always the same refrain over and over again. But the Moonies, I remember because I remember Sun Young Moon was in Washington. You remember that big gala that they had? Where he was walking?
Yeah.
You remember that? And one of the members of Congress was holding his cape.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I will never forget the date. Congress got a lot of crap for that.
Anyway, I just wanted to call and say Moonies.
Yes, I definitely remember them, without a doubt. Sun Young Moon, without a doubt. Thank you, boss.
Cool, man.
You got it. But I know there were some people out there who knew who they were. So as we continue, folks, to do what some journalists cannot do for obvious reasons, we go into these investigations when people start handing me info. And they go, hey, Reese, have you seen this? And I'll be like, no, I'm new here. I try to envelop myself in everything that's going on. And then I'll hear a story that will blow my mind. And it's interesting that other people have not investigated it further than the headlines. And this one gave me great pause. Are you familiar with Grace Baptist Church? Anyone? I wasn't either until I learned this. In March of 2024, Senators Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal tucked an $810,000 federal earmark into the spending bills for renovations of a child care center at Grace Baptist Church. The money was formally awarded on August 13th, 2024, through Housing and Urban Development. Full federal dollars, no local match required. As of the last public update on July of 2025, the project was only 22% complete. I've looked everywhere. That is where it stands, according to published reports. With a performance window stretching all the way to 2032. That was 8 years for what sounds like a building renovation. This was not a construct. This was a reno job. They weren't building an add-on to the church. It was a renovation that was billed or given at $810,000. The pastor of that church is a guy by the name of Reverend Dr. Christopher Reese. He was installed in 2015. He's got the resume, multiple degrees, prior churches in Philly, human resources background, 5 kids with his wife. Under his watch, the church has done real work. New roof, parking lot fixes, free community breakfasts, book bag giveaways, senior programs, and over $1 million in COVID outreach. That funding was back in 2021. It actually went to vaccines, food, and testing in black and brown neighborhoods. There were no scandals, no lawsuits, and no investigation. The guy even wrote a book called The Morning Word with Pastor Reese. And yes, Congresswoman Johanna Hayes bought copies and handed one of them to Nancy Pelosi. The part about all of this that raises eyebrows are this. This isn't just any church. Johanna Hayes has held multiple events there. Leadership Sunday with Hakeem Jeffries, Soul to the Polls, Get Out the Vote rallies, the church's 125th anniversary luncheon with other Democrats, prayer services, other local tragedies. Pastor Reese sits on the boards that align with Progressive Machine, Social Justice Advisory, Diversity Committee, co-chair of the NAACP Education Chair in the past. And the church sits squarely in Johanna Hayes' 5th district. So you've got a politically active pastor, a congresswoman who treats the sanctuary like a campaign headquarters, and $110,000 in federal money flowing from her Senate allies right into the same building. But yet no daycare. Is there a daycare? $810,000 was supposed to, $810,000, pardon me, was supposed to go to a daycare. No published reports of a daycare. We sent a message. We couldn't send an email. One wasn't available, so we went to the church's website. They said, ask us a question, so we did. We sent them a letter. Let me see if I can. I hadn't planned on reading it, but I figured, hey, what the heck, I'm here. Why not read it to you? Just so you can get the scope, I figured we should have you in the loop when we're talking about this kind of stuff. I think it's only right. Let me see. Here it is. Here is the letter we wrote to the church. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Scroll down. Did I have to move up? Okay, here it is. My apologies, I should say. Here's the letter that we wrote. Formal request for detailed information on the $810,000 federal community project funding earmarked for child care center renovations at Grace Baptist Church. Dear Reverend Dr. Reese, my name is Reese. I host the Reese on the Radio show weekdays from 2 to 6 on WTIC, NewsTalk 1080 in Hartford. As a longtime Connecticut broadcaster and taxpayer advocate, I regularly examine the use of public funds, especially federal earmarks directed to local projects, and bring those details to listeners for transparency and accountability. In March of 2024, U.S. Senators Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal secured an $810,000 federal earmark listed as community project funding specifically for the renovations of a child care center at the Grace Baptist Church in Waterbury. According to the reporting in the Connecticut Mirror in March of 2024, updated on March 27, 2024, the government funding bills, your own church biography notes that you secured over $1 million to start construction on the Grace Baptist Church Child Care Center. In 2024, those public statements and the documented federal allocation raise straightforward questions that Connecticut taxpayers and parents deserve answers clearly and completely. I'm therefore formally requesting the following information with a response by close of business on, let's say, 14 days from now. The timeline allows reasonable opportunity for preparation while respecting the public's right to know how their money is being spent. We want to know the funding status, project scope and details, timeline of current status, budget and matching funds, oversight, compliance, and accountability, operational plans, and for the child care center. Additional context, any other relevant documents such as feasibility studies, community impact statements, contractor selections, or partnership agreements related to this project. I go on to explain the importance of doing such a thing. I even say contact your lawyers if necessary. We have not heard back. We sent a letter earlier this week. Do I expect to hear anything back? No. So, what am I left to do? Easy. Take a trip. Looks like I'll be taking a trip to Waterbury. Maybe I'll go to Sunday service. See if we could get some answers. Huh? What do you say? Don't worry, I'm going alone. I don't need any backup. I'll just go and I'll ask. I think it's an important question. I think it is. A lot of this stuff seems dirty to me. And I'm not saying it's dirty. I'm just saying that people think it's dirty. Why would you give? Why? Were there any other places that got this kind of funding? Probably not. Is it pay to play? I don't know. But it's at least worth asking. It's an awful lot of money to give a church that hasn't produced anything since 2024. We're working on 2 years since you got the money. 2 full years. And a timeline. Sorry, let me make sure I get that date right. What's that timeline? The timeline's 2032. That's 2 presidential elections away on $1 million renovation. Melody says that maybe it's the Leering Center. I don't know. I think it's worth asking. I got some other questions, too, that I'm going to be asking very soon about drugs in Waterbury. That one's going to be a tough one to navigate. It's going to be a tough one to navigate. Because it's people right now, I'm telling you, and I even saying it right now, people are going, what does he know? You'd be stunned what I do now. There's a lot of dirty deeds going on here in Connecticut. Oh, and I love every bit of it. I do. I almost feel like I was made for this. And right here, I call this crazy. I never saw myself as being like, like top of the world, kind of like the most famous. Never. I was always an in the cut kind of guy. And I love being here in Connecticut. Let me tell you, I love being here. If this ends up being the only place I ever was, every day, you dirty bastards, you give me something to work on and to rid this state of. You give me my calling because you're just worthless. You just are. You're just dirty and filthy and reprehensible. So many of you. And I love the fact that I irk you in so many ways and you can do nothing about it. You can try. But as the emperor once says, strike me down with all of your hatred. I want it because it's so justified in what I'm doing. I'm happy to do it. I'm on the good side here, exposing every bit of the corruption, the lying, the thievery. You give me so much of it, and I know you'll never give it up. I know that you will never stop doing the underhanded sleazeball things that you're doing. So you give me license to go after you, and I love it. Just keep doing it. And again, attack me for it. I need you to come at me with everything, full bore, guns a-blazing. Keep coming. Keep coming. Oh, and when you keep coming, guess what everybody's going to know? It's like, why would they go after him if they weren't doing the dirt? That's what the exposure is. So what are you going to do? I know exactly what you're going to do. You are going to run and hide like a bunch of rats. You're going to scurry. I love being the person who exposes it. I love it, every bit of it. And I love calling you a bunch of worms and rats. And scum. I love it. This audience needs it. They need you called out. They are begging for it. They tell me every day, you have no idea. I get all the emails. I get all the text messages. Expose them, Reese. Get them out there. They've had enough. They're swimming in it. Like they're up to their noses in it. They can't breathe anymore. And you guys just don't want to act right. As they used to say in the hood. Just won't act right. Okay, no problem. We're just going to put you on blast. Just have to put you on blast. We have to let everybody know the piece of garbage you are. I know people say, you know, there was some talk yesterday and today about who gets exposed and who gets questioned about certain things. And I understand that. I understand it very, very well. And I know how important it is, you know, to not do things for the sake of just doing them. But I hate a piece of garbage, man. I can't. I don't care who it is. You're not on the up and up, and I can't protect you. Nor should I protect you if you're underhanded, thieving, and a scoundrel. I can't. I can't do it. Not in good conscience. Can't. So correct it. And if you can't, coming for you. It's just the way it's going to have to be. Or you can come for me. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio. And I found something really, really odd. With all of the, you know, gerrymandering talk and the primary talks that have been going on, there's a lot of people who've been around for a long time. You know, Ken Paxton won his primary, so that means that John Cornyn is gone. Unfortunately, Al Green, that guy's, he's been around for a long time, well over like 26 years, or maybe even longer. I don't know. He's been around for a long time, but he really did nothing. He authored no bills. He was just a layabout. He was just there. And, you know, people called him, you know, civil rightser and all that. Just a rabble-rouser, you know? It just was. It's just absolutely ineffective. You know, he collected a paycheck. He did nothing. And he's about to be ousted. He's completely gone. They rejected him. Everything, every stunt he pulled. Lost his seat. It was very sad. Sad. You got that guy Cohen and Memphis. He's about to lose his seat. He's been around forever. They were saying that because of the black gerrymandering that was going down in Memphis, people were upset about that. That's the guy the black people want. They need representation. Who are they fighting for? Black Republicans. They want representation. Black woman is running for the seat, and they could vote for her, but completely, if to make matters worse, they look silly. That's why I laugh at them all the time. And, you know, it is. But I have got to cite what I can only call the greatest Negro nonsense ever.
Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you?
This one's got a spin, folks. This Negro nonsense has quite the spin because there are no Negroes involved. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the man who replaced one. Reggae Don, make sure you're in the chat room for this one. They told us that the reason why they couldn't vote for Jasmine Crockett, or as I like to refer to her, Sister Girl, the reason why they voted for the white man over Sister Girl was because the white man could win. Black folks said this. Black folks said this, and it is the ultimate in Negro nonsense. We need that white man in order to win that seat. Well, let's take a look at what they got for ousting Sister Girl, Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs.
Move over, Davy Crockett. There's a new Texas trailblazer in town, and their name is James Tallarico, the man who bragged, our office is the first in the history of Texas to add pronouns to our official business cards.
I am running around like a crazy person today,
spreading his white skin wherever he goes.
I am not a perfect Christian. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity, and it's a painful process.
Bearing the cross of white skin and unambiguous masculinity.
I was a big nerd in high school. I never played sports. I probably shouldn't out myself like this. Sex is a spectrum, and oftentimes it can be very ambiguous.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Straight from Revelations in the woke James Bible.
I want us all to be aware of that. There are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
And on the 7th day, they rested. But not James Tallarico. He built an ark big enough for all creatures.
To be able to write legislation that benefits not just the people, but also our animal friends.
Just like the Supreme Court said, one cow, one vote.
Now, existential, that we try to reduce our meat consumption. That's the right thing to do and the moral thing to do.
The 11th commandment, thou shalt not smoke brisket.
I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign.
So step aside, Sam Houston. Tallarico's bravery towers over Texas. He's fighting for all 6 genders and tens of thousands of species.
I guess we just have a different moral yardstick.
You know what insults Jesus?
Binary white people who eat barbecue and remember the Alamo?
There's only been one perfect Christian.
And they certainly weren't a carnivorous, Caucasian, binary Homo sapien, according to the woke Gospel of James.
They're going to call me a radical leftist, un-Texan, un-American.
And bar none, the weirdest candidate for Senate the Lone Star State has ever seen.
Y'all gave up Sister Girl for this guy. In Texas. You guys picked this guy over Sister Girl in Texas. The guy... Hold on. Wait. Y'all gave up Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs for this guy and said, and I quote, we needed a guy who could win in Texas. He is a 6 gender. God is non-binary. No meat eating liberal running in Texas. And said, no, he's got a shot. And we're supposed to take you folks seriously? Come on. You ain't looking to win. You are not looking to win, not in Texas. That's why I'm calling it Negro nonsense, because that's exactly what it is. It's straight nonsense. It's the most laughable thing I ever saw. I'm looking at this dude and I'm going, this guy looks like a serial killer from what's the name? Criminal Minds on CBS. This guy he is like all you have to do is put a boat. He is the living, he's Howdy Doody in Texas. Now, I know there's some liberals in Texas. Don't get me wrong. Austin, Houston, I know they're there. But I know there's some people who are sitting up there going, 6 genders? Even here, that's too far. Just say 3. Man, woman, and bisexual. Just do that. We can vote for you. 6? There's good. You can bring them guys in. You can say whatever you want, but just don't say there are 6 genders. And the fact that you can say God is non-binary. Are you crazy? Where's Sister Girl at? Can we bring Jasmine Crockett back? Just play. I want you to bring, you know what? That's what we need to have a campaign to bring back Sister Girl. This is wrong what they did to her. Seriously. In my personal view, it's unbelievable what they did to her. She wears a weave, for those of you in Bristol. It's unbelievable what they did to her. It's absolutely horrible. And y'all brought in a 6 gender, non-binary, Jesus Christ loving, no meat eating Texan, and said, we can win with this. He makes Beto O'Rourke look like Tom Selleck in Magnum P.I. You got to be out your mind. Let me take this real quick. Is that Morgan in Howington? Hello, Morgan. How are you?
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes.
I'm doing good, Reese. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. Is this crazy?
Okay. Oh, no. It's been crazy since he won the nomination.
I couldn't, and they told us, look, Jasmine Crockett has a hell of a social media following. She is a media darling on the left. But the fact that they brought this guy in, I'm looking at him and then I'm looking at Plattner in Maine. I'm looking at both of these guys and I'm going, well, at least the Democrat Party's diverse. They got a Nazi in Maine and they've got a non-binary guy over in Texas. It shows the scale, the scope of which they elect their officials.
The key word you said there is this guy. It gives us a chance.
I'm just saying to myself, maybe these people have never been to Texas. I mean, at least I lived there for about 20 months. But I feel like even as an outsider here in Connecticut, there's no way we're looking at Texas as going, this guy wins. By the way, have you ever seen Tellerico? Have you seen his picture on TV?
Yeah, he's right. You're right. He's very much like a Dexter.
Yes, he has that appeal.
He's definitely like cutting up bodies, like when no one's looking, and like eating lips. But he's a vegetarian.
I wasn't going to go that far. He just looks very serial. That's all I'm saying. And it's just a look, and there's everything about him. He seems to be bombastic in his very nerd-like way. But I'm saying to people in Texas, I know look, Beto O'Rourke never, ever made headway. And he was about as cool of a kid as you can get. The guy would show up at events on a skateboard. He'd stand up on tables. He was youthful and fun. He cursed a lot. He spoke the language of the youth. But this guy walks in and you kind of go, I'm almost certain I put that guy in a locker room one way. I'm almost certain that I locked that guy somewhere.
So I have a couple of things. Can I ask you while I'm on the phone?
Oh, no, yeah, please.
So, obviously I'm glad Fazio got the nomination.
Yes.
I haven't seen him around too much because I'm sure he's still doing his job that he's supposed to be doing, which is the correct way to go about it.
Right.
If you talk to his party or his group, can you bring in how New York is falling apart, and he can say, like, hey, Connecticut's right here. If you want to move your business, we can protect you,
Listen to me. Morgan, go nowhere. Let me put you on hold. I want to address exactly what you brought up. There's a very, very good point to what you said. And I had this conversation with Rob Sampson, the senator. I had this conversation. Stay on the line with me. I'm going to get you on the other side, and I'm going to address the exact point you're making because not only is it valid, it's valuable. Okay? So stick around for me in a second. I'll be right back, okay? You got it. All right, stand by, folks. We'll get Morgan on the other side of it. Let me say hello to my guests who are hanging out here. Oh, I did the wrong thing, didn't I? Let me do that. Sorry. There we go. Now we'll put them on hold. We'll get to them in the 4 o'clock hour, but we'll get Morgan on the other side of it when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Sorry. Wow, what did I do here? I screwed that up. Sorry about that. I've got Johnny Cruz here. Eddie Torres is also chilling out, so we're gonna talk to him in a minute. I'm just so fascinated by what these guys do, so I'm gonna bring them on the air in a second. But let me get to Morgan real quick. Let me finish up with him. Morgan, you in the break, for those of you who are just joining us, Morgan brought this up, talking about Ryan Fazio on the campaign trail sending a message out to people in New York, which in essence is saying, Morgan, if I get this wrong, correct me. In essence, you're telling people in New York, listen, come to Connecticut. When I'm governor, I got you. You want to get rid of the Mamdani effect in your life? Come to Connecticut. You can build a life here. You can start your life here. You don't have to be in this insane, tax-heavy Western. When I become governor, we're going to make this place safe for you to live. We're going to make it inexpensive for you to live, and you'll be able to start your family here. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's because Ned Lamont is not going to try to impose with the power that New York is, where he thinks that we're beneath it. But he's run out a lot of these larger businesses over the years to Boston and New York as well. And so it's very much of if Ryan, can get behind these businesses and say, hey, we don't want your employees getting the tax. We want, to support you, and we'll be happy to take your taxes, and we're not going to tax you up the wazoo like New York's planning on doing.
Right. So here's what I said to Senator Rob Sampson the day of the debate on May 7th. This is exactly what I said to him. I said, when you guys prop up Ryan Fazio, I want you to picture this in your head. I want you to picture the state of Connecticut behind him and his fiancée, Amy. Above the state, the map of the state, it says, "Welcome to Connecticut." And the caption reads something along the lines of, "Connecticut, where your life begins." Now, why did I state that? Because Lamont and many others have treated Connecticut like the place you end your life. This is a retirement state. This is where old people die. And you move on, right? You get here after you've already moved all the kids out and they've all moved all across the world. But if you put a picture of young Ryan Fazio and his young soon-to-be bride and put him in front of the state of Connecticut with a welcome mat that says, your life can begin in one of the most beautiful states in the Northeast, Connecticut. Imagine the message you'll be saying. That instead of ending your life here, like when Lamont says, bring your business here so you can abort your babies, Ryan Fazio has a message of, bring your family here so you can start anew. That we could become the state where you begin your life, not end it. And Rob Sampson looked me right in the face and said, that's a damn good point. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, obviously he has to pick and choose his battles because, our major cities are, very much warped. So it's very much of like maybe Bridgeport is probably the least, worst out of all of them. I mean, Waterbury would be a good option,
right.
To help grow. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the areas that, aren't.
Yeah, but awful. You know what? All of those places that may be a little in disrepair, we could have an economy and we could have a society where those places start to build up. It's not impossible, but the one way we get there is to stop with this nonsense about taxing folks and then spending it on these charitable ideas that go nowhere. There's no revenue gain in that. You cannot have a society that is constantly sustained by the government. You have to create a place of prosperity. Getting businesses here is a start. And while, this guy Lamont is sitting up here talking about let's just tax our way and spend our way into prosperity, Ryan is going the other end. Damn it, I got to go to a break. Listen, Morgan, I hope you give us a call back. When I get Fazio on here, I'm going to talk to him exactly about that, everything that you're talking about, okay?
Yep, yeah, I got one good idea, just real quick. Why don't they take that sign in Puerto Rico about Connecticut and put it right on the border of New York?
Boom, exactly. That's a great one. Thanks, Morgan. Let's get our first check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. All right, second half of Reese on the Radio begins very, very shortly, and a guy that I have learned online to admire, respect, and I'm glad to have him on the show. Johnny Cruz joins us. You don't know this guy if you do not dwell in, let's just say, inner city Facebook scavengers. This guy is a street reporter, and he does anything and everything. I think it's fair to just call you a Hartford influencer. And is that fair to say? Yeah, without a doubt. A Hartford influencer. I know you've never heard of him. You've probably seen some things that have gone by on your Facebook page, if indeed you've seen. You've probably seen me repost things by him, but what he gets to do is stuff that I don't get to do, and I want to introduce him to you. He may not be your cup of tea, but I think after this interview, he might be someone that you're interested in, because I believe in what he's doing, and I want to show him some love here on the program. So stand by for that. Johnny Cruz, exclusively on Reese on the Radio. Don't you go to another network, I swear. I want to let you know that, okay? We're going to talk to him in a little bit, so stand by for that. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Our good friend Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How we doing, sir?
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're here and we're back. That man right there. Oh, I promised I was supposed to do this. My apologies. I was supposed to fix this, and I got your camera all screwed up. My bad, my friend. I will fix you. Right there is the man of the hour today. He is what I would consider a friend now. Mr. Johnny Cruz is in the house. And I thank you for being here as well. Johnny, you are a native Hartford nutmegger. You've been here since your birth.
Yep.
And you've always loved this city no matter what. You are ride or die Hartford.
All the time. Since day one.
Since day one. Now, what is it? Because I'll be honest with you. I don't understand the dynamic in Hartford in a lot of ways, because maybe I don't see it from the perspective that you do, because you are in the city, right? And I'm from New York, right? I'm from Hollis, Queens, and I could sit up here and blow up my Hollis, Queens roots all day. But I know there are parts of it that I just don't like, and I'm over it. But you are in love with your city. Is that correct to say?
Yep, that's right.
Tell me why you love the city of Hartford. While some people may shun it and disrespect it, why do you love your city?
When you're born and raised somewhere, you just live it for the community, the people that you get to know, the neighborhoods. Really, when you get to know people in the area, you love it.
Yeah.
But if you don't know it, all you hear is this, and that, and third, you're going to just walk away. But if you live in the area, you get to know it, you get to love people.
Yeah, so it's the people you believe make your city, not the buildings or the trash or whatever the case is, even the crime for that matter. It is the people in the community.
People in the community. There's a lot of people with resources, connections. Once you get into depth, everybody has a lot to offer.
So what was it that inspired you to do this online sort of venture with Johnny Cruz on Facebook, Instagram, any of that? Was part of it because you really wanted to shine a light on, although there are negative things that happen, but you wanted to shine a light. Yeah, there he is, Craig G. You wanted to shine a light on the good there is in the city, the community, the restaurants, and things like that. Is that what you wanted to do?
Pretty much. I've always noticed a lot of things all the time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just start putting this up. And little by little started.
They're going to need you to get a little closer to the mic. Right. Just so, it's okay. So you saw these things that were happening, and you were like, you wanted to show Hartford from your point of view.
Yep.
So what do you remember? What your first post was? Was it crime? Was it social stuff?
My first post was a car that somebody stole, and they just ditched it in the middle of the road. So I'm like, hey, somebody, whatever, stole a car, left it in the middle of the road. If it's yours, tap in. But I don't know what happened after that, but I know people just loved it. I was like, all right.
So it was sort of like you treated Facebook or social media like a community board, like it should be, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like telling people, hey, if this is your car, contact me. I'll tell you where it is.
Exactly.
And then people responded well to it, and like sort of your popularity grew from that.
That's right.
And so was it always things like stolen cars or a burning building or a shootout or things like that? Or were you immediately mixing it up?
I mixed it up maybe like after a year into it.
Right. So first it was just calling out all of the crazy stuff that was happening.
This is going on. Check your people here. There's a fire here. There's an accident. And some people were like, hey, too much negativity. So it's like, I can get creative because I've always had other ideas. Mm-hmm. So I just dived into it. You
said something in your post that you've been using for 6 years because I just saw it recently. You said, check your people. That is a really, really catchy point of view on these posts. When you say check your people, explain that to this audience when you say check your people.
Check your people is like, if you got a loved one or a family member or a friend that you don't know where they are, and hey, I recognize that car, let me make a phone call. Or I know that building, maybe my grandma's in there, so they'll call it up. Like, I've been told from people from Puerto Rico and Florida, listen, I watch your page because I got family that lives there. So no one's going to tell them what's going on unless they get a phone call later on.
Right. So they can't rely on the news. They can't rely on a lot of things in social media, even people who are sort of beat reporters. You kind of become the voice for people who don't know, like who might live abroad or maybe live in a community and don't know what's happening. In essence, you are a street reporter for them, that you're on the scene saying, and I love that line, check your people. You're sort of like telling them, is this someone you know? Exactly. Is this a car that you recognize? Is this a home that you know someone who lives in? Check up on them because, you don't know. So it's like, check your people. Is this one of yours? Yeah, exactly. And that's such a brilliant way to approach it because somebody might even see it and go, I don't know that building, but my grandmother lives next door. I don't know that person, but my sister lives down the block. And you are sort of getting the community engaged in whatever is going on.
Exactly.
The other thing that you do that I find fascinating, and it is so raw, uncut, and dare I say it, unscripted. You go to restaurants and you promote, and I don't use this term loosely or dismissively, but a place that most people probably wouldn't go, right? It's some down the street place, right? It's some place that's Cucci Fritos on the corner or whatever it is. Yeah. They sell like maybe one dish or whatever it is, but you will go down there and you will do on the street review, very similar to what Dave Portnoy does with the pizza review. Yeah. But you do it just whatever the case is. Is it candy? Is it food? Whatever it is. And you go to the restaurant and you buy, I'm assuming you don't get the food for free. You actually purchase the food.
Some of them free, some of them I got to pay.
Some of you got to pay. Okay. Yeah. And you will get on your social media and then review the food right then and there. But here's the part that I was talking about this off the air, which I found amazing. Is this one video where you talked about this Spanish restaurant and you couldn't remember what the name of the food was, and you were like, I'm going to try this thing. I think I had it before and I don't know what the name of it is. And I'm not going to ask the lady, but I'm just going to try it. And then you try it and it was like, oh, this is good. And I started, the part that made me laugh, but at the same time was fascinated by it was in doing that, whether you know it or not, is creating the conversation because somebody recognized that dish.
Exactly.
And went online and said, Johnny, this is, they'll call you names and whatever. It's like, you silly, this is such and such, you know what I mean? But it starts the conversation. Everybody starts saying, oh, if you think that one's good, you should try this one over on 4th Street. You should, that's the...
Exactly. Or they'll correct me, hey, that's the name of that dish. I was like, even better.
Right, exactly. So there's a real community that's being built on this site, which is a mixture of sort of street reporting and influencing, telling people in Hartford, did you check out this place? Have you eaten here? Here's a new place that just opened up that you may not know serves this, that, and the third. And then you go down there and you sort of it's as simple as anything could possibly be. What is the overall response? Because Craig G., who just walked by, said that in the beginning, people viewed you as like a snitch in a lot of cases. Did that bother you when they were saying that about you?
It did bother me because I'm over here like, I'm not recording things that I shouldn't put out there. I'm just reporting basic information. But people are like, oh, you're doing this. I was like, show me what I did wrong. Some people, they have nothing to say.
But I think the fact that you blended both of those things, that you weren't just reporting on problems that were happening, burning car or a house burning down or even a shooting.
Yeah.
You also did some fun-loving things. Like you have a post with your sister where you guys are doing a TikTok dance or whatever it is. Yeah. There was always this blend of sort of community outreach, news reporting, fun stuff, food, trends, whatever the case is, and you're having fun. And that sort of brings you or endears you with the audience and says, man, this guy, is there anything he won't post about? But it's all in good, it's like sort of good-natured stuff.
Pretty much.
Have you always been that way, or have you always found this way to sort of put the silver lining on things?
I've always kind of been that way, but I used to be like really shy.
Okay.
Once I started doing what I did, I was like, I just have to be myself. I can't put up a front. I can't put up a persona. Be yourself, and people will love you for who you are.
You are as natural as it gets online because, I remember the first time watching you and saying, I was like, he speaks in Ebonics and he's a fast talker. So I got to listen very closely, right? Yeah. Puerto Rican, right?
Yep.
Fast talker. So I got to pay attention to exactly how you phrase it. I've had to rewind your videos a couple of times, but I've always laughed because you seem to be doing it like you're having a blast, like you're having the best time ever doing it. Is that come natural that you're just really enjoying what you're doing?
That comes natural because I just love what I do pretty much. I'm not going to do something I don't want. Like, I'm not interested in this and just still do it. I'd rather do the things that I like.
Yeah. And this is just something that you do. This is the part that drives me crazy though. Okay. You are not trying to be a rich man doing this.
No. I kind of see this. Whatever happens, happens. I don't got like this goal above my head, like, hey, if I don't reach this by this time, I'm going to drop everything. Mm-hmm. I'll just keep going with the flow.
I'm only bringing this up because I think that it's noble. At the same time, I think that it really tells me everything I need to know about your character. You have a 10-speed bike?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
21. One of those two.
It's relatively old, right?
The one I got now, I'm not even too sure how old it is, but it's new to me.
It's new to you. You ride that bike everywhere. You don't have a car.
No car, all bike.
And you ride this bike to every one of these locations to get this footage, no matter where it is.
Exactly. If I can get there, I'm on the way.
And that kind of tenacity blows my mind. Because I was just having a conversation with one of my my sister stations, Reg, over at the morning show, saying that is something that needs to be taught everywhere. That it isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you do and what you do with that.
Exactly.
When I asked you to come up to the station, you told me you have a bike.
Yeah.
You were like, where's the station? I was like, in Farmington. And you took a picture of your bike and you sent it to me. You said, I don't care. I'll ride the bike to Farmington. That blew my mind because I was like, no, I don't want. I'm telling you the truth. I literally almost said I was going to get my wife to take our car and go drive and pick you up.
Yeah.
That's how I was like, no, I got to go get this guy. Because I was daunting the idea that you were going to ride your bike there. But that's what you do every day. Because for you, this isn't about the money and it isn't even about the prestige. You really, really love what you're doing because you feel like you're doing a service for the people. Is that fair? Am I speaking for
much. I do it more for them than me. Because I got to the point where it's more of awareness. So somebody's got to tell them, right?
Yeah. Somebody's got to tell them, right? Do you feel disheartened by the fact that nobody's telling the story of Hartford? Like, does that bother you and you feel like, does it bother you enough to say that's the reason why I have to do it? Or do you not care and say, I'm just going to do it?
I'm just gonna do it pretty much. I know a lot of people don't always put out the truth, but that's just the way it is.
You got in a little bit of some political fray because you have been talking also about unaffordable housing that they've been calling affordable housing. I asked you off the air whether or not you were a political dude, and you were like, "Nah, I'll let you say it." You was like, "You don't understand it."
Yeah, I don't really understand how the whole thing works. I just know that they make you pick and choose. But some things you got to be able to point out, like, hey, you guys are saying this, but then you're doing the complete opposite.
So you're using common sense without having to deal with the political side of it.
Exactly.
And what you see wrong, you just point that out.
Yeah.
So you made this video talking about how the politicians are lying to you about the building they're going to convert. Where's that building, by the way?
That was on New Park Avenue.
Okay, on New Park Avenue, that building that they're calling affordable housing, you put out this video saying they are lying to you. This is not affordable housing. And the reason why you said that was?
Because I know for a fact it's not going to be for the people in the community. And whatever they're going to be asking, I'm pretty sure it's going to be $2,000 plus. And not too many people can come out of pocket for that.
And so that's the reason why you were making it aware. So again, this is, I always feel like there are people in this business who do what they're told or do what's expected of them. Where when I watch your videos, you do what comes naturally. I try to do that here on the show. I get a lot of pushback for it because, again, we're a corporate station. I can't do everything I want to do here. But I try to do, within the parameters of getting the job done, I've got to sort of push back on the corporate angle. And I got to push back on other people in the entity as well. I was telling you and Eddie as you were sitting here, I was like, the reason why, and I hate using the word, but it's an honest word to use. Yeah. I envy what you guys do. But not in a bad way, not envious in a mean way. Envy you with pride.
Yeah.
I wish I could do my show on the street like you guys do. I wish I could do this radio show with a backpack and whatever Bluetooth and just broadcast right on the block.
Yeah.
And just get in depth with the stuff that's going on there so that, just to report to people all the time. I go out on the street all the time. I go to press conferences with all these politicians and I put it online. But I'm envious of what you guys do because what you do is you get a very raw interpretation of the news that's happening around them. That's why I feel like you're valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really respect what you do. And that's kind of why I want to bring you into the fold. So if you ever need anything from Reese on the radio, you let me know.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I genuinely love what you guys do. I respect what you do. And I want people to know what you do. Because there's a part of that story that sort of gets missed or lost in translation. Other people are telling your story who don't live there.
Yep.
And you do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So in being on the ground level, you get to tell the story that other people otherwise ignore.
Exactly.
So I just want to say that I respect you and thank you. Tell me where everybody, just look up Johnny Cruz on Facebook.
Johnny Cruz Hero on Facebook. That's how you find me.
All right. Johnny Cruz. That is Johnny, regular Johnny. Cruz. He doesn't have to spell it in any weird way. C-R-U-Z. Johnny Cruz on Facebook. Follow him. I promise you will be entertained. He is very, very funny. And he's likable. He's got he's probably the most likable person you meet right off the bat. He just gives off this aura. So go check him out. Tara, who checks you out, she says, "Yay, Johnny!" She's really, really happy that you're here.
Thank you.
A lot of people, listen, you have a lot of respect out there. Absolutely. And the fact that, you told Eddie and all these guys to get and join in on the fray, you didn't hog it all to yourself. You said, spread the word,
That's right.
and spread the wealth. Or lack thereof, for that. Let's see. I'm going to see if we can get somebody to get you a car. Do you have a driver's license?
No.
Damn it.
Not even that.
Well, even that. Well, we got to do something. Mark Christopher, he's going to tell you about the traffic you're not experiencing. He's in the BBS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Let's do the thing that we always do. News. In music news today, happy birthday goes to one of my favorite rappers and musicians. Andre 3000 turns 51 today. Let me see. Sean Kinney of Alice in Chains turns 60. It's hard to deal with a rocker turning 60. It's just hard. Neil Finn of Crowded House and Split Ends turns 68. Susie Sue of Susie and the Banshees turns 69. Damn. 69. Damn. It's hard for a rocker to be that old. And Bruce Cockburn turns 81 on this day in music. In 1963, Columbia Records released Bob Dylan's breakthrough second album, Freewheelin'. In 1977, the Sex Pistols released their controversial single, God Save the Queen. You might remember that during Queen Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee. They got a lot of crap for that. And in 1957, a band that I actually loved back in the days, which, well, technically it was just a guy. Buddy Holly and the Crickets released That'll Be the Day, which topped the charts in the U.S. and the U.K. later and earned a spot in the Library of Congress in the National Recording Registry. And I had this because I was raring to go with it, and I cannot believe that I didn't have it ready. That's old Buddy Holly. Here it is. That's him, Buddy Holly, and the Crickets. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Our good friend Mark Christopher is here.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, folks, we are back and we are live. My guest right now, and I'm chock full of guests every week. I'm trying to slow it down. I know some people are like, wow, man, it's always guests all the time. I'm trying to slow it down. But we just came off the convention and everybody wants to be on the show. I think it's a testament to you and a testament to the show that everybody wants to be a part of it. And this gentleman who has never been in the studio with me, he's been on the phones, hasn't been here for a while. He is none other than Jonathan DeBarros, who is running for the seat in the 5th District against Johanna Hayes, but he's got a primary against Chris Shea, a person he nor Chris Shea are too fond of each other. So let's just, let's deal with the obvious. I told you when I spoke to you this weekend, what was the reason why I didn't have you on the show for a while?
I was a loose cannon. Wow.
Now, for Reese on the radio to call you a loose cannon, that's saying something, because I throw a lot of bombs here. And you know I do. But I like to call those things legitimate. Not that yours weren't. I get where you're coming from. People are going to say a lot about you and have said a lot about the way in which you run your campaign. Yes. They don't like it. They're not fond of it. They think that not only are you a loose cannon, but you draw a lot of friendly fire, so to speak, right? You're like, how can he be a part of us, but he keeps trying to bury us in a lot of ways?
Because I know the real deal. I mean, you got to remember, Reese, I've been doing this for well over a year. I filed my candidacy back in March.
I remember.
And I went to Mr. Proto with respect. I had my 3-piece suit on, brought my wife with me. We went to a Kent dinner. I introduced myself properly. And I explained to him how I had a strategy of beating Johanna Hayes. I told him what my policies were, and he was more concerned about money. Because he said that's what this is all about.
Yeah, he said that you come holler at me when you can raise, what, $500,000?
$500,000, which is a bunch of BS. So, and I could prove that real quick if you want me to.
I know you have, you've got evidence on everything. Yeah. I want to go by this piece by piece. I know that you, trust me, with all due respect, I know how you do interviews. This is I do it differently. Right. But that's only because I want you to be able to articulate what's on your mind and how you feel. Because then it just turns into a it turns into a train wreck. So they're saying they need to up your mic. I don't know why, but you seem to be, you're loud enough. You shouldn't be. Somebody said we need to turn up your microphone. I don't know
Microphone's up.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Okay. So that is your first dealing with Ben Proto. And I have a tendency to believe, or I have a reason to believe, that really started your campaign of like, what's really going on here, and you started diving deep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what it was all about. I mean, I came into this because I was watching from the outside, looking in, and I'm like, everything they're doing was wrong.
Right.
They're not going into the cities. We know where the problem's at, and then they have the luxury of saying, well, the Democrats got control of the cities. And then the most craziest thing I hear is that they say, well, the people in the cities, they're going to continue to vote Democrat because they get free stuff. Mm-hmm. And I looked up the percentage. I'm like, there's only 30% of the cities are on government subsidized programs. What about, you think everybody's on welfare in the city? Like nobody has a job? I think that's very disrespectful to the people that live in those communities.
And this was a sort of a reason that they were giving for not reaching out to those communities. And you didn't like that because, again, you're a member of said community.
Exactly. And when I talk about the communities, I represent black, white, whoever, because I grew up with white people right in the hood, just with us. So people that come from those economic, depressed areas, I think they need a voice in Washington, D.C., just as much as our people in the rural areas. That's why I got overwhelming respect in the district from farmers, law enforcement, military men, and people that just came home from prison.
Why do you think that I think I know the answer to this, and I know I'm literally walking into a buzzsaw with this. But you immediately saw this as party politics playing money against real results. You saw it as an opportunity for people to enrich themselves instead of really caring about the constituents' wants. You come from a part or a position, I should say, as a person who wants to get into politics to serve the people. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I want to give back to the community. I made mistakes in my past. I changed my life around. God redeemed me. I don't have a criminal record. My story is a story of redemption, and I want to be a testament to God's saving grace. I'm not a perfect person. Like I tell people, I'm Paul. When Paul got transferred from Saul to Paul, I'm in that transition process.
Right. So you really see this work as a public service, not as an opportunity for you to gain power. Mm-hmm. You want to give that power to the people you wish to serve in the 5th district. You feel as though it's been squandered. Mm-hmm. You think it's been ignored. And when you came to the Republican Party as a conservative, you thought that your message would be clear and it would be embraced. Yes?
Yes.
And it was not, because you found out that it ain't no different than what you saw over on the Democrat side.
Exactly.
Yes?
It's a money scam. And that's the whole thing with Chris Shea. I mean, Chris Shea, he's polished. He looks great on paper, and they could raise a lot of money off of him. They know he can't win, but that's not about winning. It's about making as much money as you could possibly make during this congressional race. Same thing with George Logan. They polished George up, had him out there talking about adobo in the commercials. That wasn't going to resonate with people in the urban community. He never went into the cities. Because he wasn't from our district. He's from Ansonia. They got him an apartment in Merritt and pretending he was from the 5th. It doesn't work like that. I was born and raised in the city of Waterbury. My family came to America in 1916 from the Cape Verde Islands in West Africa when it was still a Portuguese colony. My grandfather came here the right way through the port of entry. He came to work in the factories in 1916. My grandparents on my mother's side came to Waterbury in 1946 from Jacksonville, North Carolina for the same opportunities. All these neighborhoods where you got all these young kids, gang banging and shooting, those were affluent communities. Black people had 2-parent households. We had the churches. We had our own businesses. We was very successful and very conservative, and that's what I want to bring back to our communities.
And when you saw this sort of party politics, almost pay to play, let's get as much money as we possibly can, this wasn't about serving the people. You, in a lot of ways, became what many people have. It made you angry, and what you wanted the message to be was, and this is where you and I have our divide. Mm-hmm. Everything up until this point, you and I are together. Mm-hmm. What you did was, and again, I've got my issues with it, and I'll explain that. What you immediately did was start telling the Republican Party about itself publicly.
Yeah. Yes, because the whole thing is we got to also realize that the majority of the registered voters in the state of Connecticut are not Democrat or Republican. They're unaffiliated.
Indeed.
And they're unaffiliated because they're dissatisfied with both parties. But the majority of the people who are unaffiliated are actually conservative.
Indeed.
And that's why you seen an uptick in voter from when Trump started to run.
Correct.
The voter in the cities.
Registration, yes.
Voter registration, it got uptick. And that's why Ben Proto and the state central committee members told all the candidates to water down the message. And they basically were on the don't say Trump. Wait.
So you're absolutely right about that. There was sort of this rejection of Donald Trump. Let's not bring him up, because part of the reason why, and I'm saying this in the defense of Ben Proto, only because I understand where he's coming from. Do I think it's right? No, but I'm just in defense of him because I'm trying to play fair here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Ben Proto knows that the mainstream media of Connecticut is going to turn any message about Trump into a campaign ad that says this person is a Trumper, this person is a Trumper, and that becomes the echo in the candidate, if you will, becomes nothing more than an extension of Donald Trump.
Now, that's a great point. And I just want you to understand that that's BS.
Okay.
And
Talk to me.
And the reason why is because we just talked about you had an uptick in voter registration.
I'm in agreement with you.
So if you embrace President Trump, I went to the Madison Square Garden Trump rally in 2024.
The one that they called the Nazi rally.
The Nazi rally, right? I was right behind Trump, and I'm telling you, I seen black people, Hispanics. You had Africans selling MAGA gear right on the street, right on the corner.
Sure.
So I'm telling you that President Trump's policies on criminal justice reform, his policies on the economic opportunity zones with Tim Scott, empowering the black community, giving money to the HBCUs, more money than anybody prior to Joe Biden, when they stole the election, he did it. He gave more money because he was trying to outspend Trump to make himself look good. Right. But I'm telling you right now, if you bring the message to the hood, to the urban community about what Trump is really doing, it's going to energize the base.
I agree with you.
And we're going to win.
No, and by the way, not the.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll dump it.
Yeah.
My point is, no, I agree with you. I think his that point of view about not bringing up Trump is obviously a person out of tune with what's resonating with folks as it pertains to Donald Trump. He is not an albatross around the Republican Party's neck. But when you are looking from what I call a view, a myopic view, as a person not understanding the nuance of why Donald Trump resonates, you will tell your candidates, try to stay away from him, try to stay away from him. It doesn't work here. When you're working from the optics of WTNH, WFSB, News 12, and NBC Connecticut. Mm-hmm. If you are working in those, if you believe that campaigns are won in the newsroom and not on the streets, retail politics, you will tell your candidates that. Because again, they're worried about what's going to play in the news media. Which, again, I laugh at and I reject because I know better.
Yeah.
That's what, exactly. Listen, I won campaigns. I know what it's like. And I'm not talking about some rinky-dink campaign. I won governorships. And why? Because I told people the media is going to do what the media does. Screw what the media does. Exactly. You do what you do. Because everyone watches the news. I always look at the news this way. For all these guys, and I don't care who you are in the news. If it hurts your feelings, too bad. People watch the news for weather and traffic and who got shot. They don't get their politics from them.
Nope.
Okay?
They get it from the street.
That's right. They get it from the streets. Okay? And that's your retail politics. Get your feet on the ground in the hood is going to get you the vote.
Exactly.
Not about whether or not you're doing a poll on FSB. It doesn't work. It never has.
No. And the thing is, for the rhinos that keep calling me a murderer, trying to bring on my past, I want you to know it's going to backfire on you because you got over 80,000 Connecticut residents that got a pardon. I know people that did time that's police officers. So you guys are offending a lot of people.
Why are they I will listen, it's a controversial point that was made at the convention. And somebody you got into a shouting match with, we don't have to get into it because we're going to get that opportunity on Friday. And we'll talk to them about that. So I don't want to really get into the details of that. To me, that's all gossip and innuendo. It is like viral videos and all that other stuff. I'll get into that with them. But this attack on you, in essence, to stoke fear in your candidacy by saying words like that, you're a murderer. Without context and as a means to get you to respond negatively. Because I will admit, I don't really like the way that you respond to it because I think that you should do it a little more professional than you do. Don't let them dictate how you respond. You shouldn't. And again, I know your story. I know exactly what happened and how it happened, and I know the status of that. You don't get a full pardon, and you don't get everything sort of rescinded, if you will, if you did something wrong. You don't have that happen to you, if that's the case. You fought your case. You did your time. You paid a debt to society, in essence, to save your own life. And I look at you and I say, not only did you get railroaded, but thank goodness that somebody saw it in it to reverse that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for people to use it, it is low. First of all, it's small ball. It's low-hanging fruit. And it's despicable because they know that it isn't true and they understand the context. So they're doing it for shock value. What I would do in that instance is say, you don't even have to address it. You're bringing attention to it. Everybody, by the way, them bringing attention to it, they're going to find out what? They're going to find out exactly what I just described, right?
Yes.
They're acting like, and this is how stupid people are. They get this impression that if they say something, nobody's going to look it up and find out the facts for themselves to destroy the credibility of the person who tried to destroy yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why I said I wouldn't even bother with that. I would look him right in the face and look, Oh, if you believe that, go ahead and find yourself. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Because that's what they're going to do. But they did that because, again, the objective was you're a threat. Yes?
Yes, exactly. I mean, just like they called Trump a rapist when he was running in 2016. This is the same thing because Trump was an outsider coming into the Republican establishment, and they didn't want him in there because he was an outsider.
Right, and the objective was this guy's gaining too much ground, he's making too much sense to people, and they're loving him. Mm-hmm. So we have to discredit him. Exactly. So, as a person who I know who follows the whole MAGA movement, and you're a huge, proponent of Donald Trump, follow his lead. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Just follow his lead. They're going to come after you no matter what. There's nothing you can do to stop them. That's what they're going to do. But as long as they do, and I say this every day on this program, if they're talking about me, it's because I'm a threat to them. True. If they're always got their back up about my name and bringing my name up, they would ignore me if I had no effect.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we'll talk more about this. We got Jonathan for a little while. We're going to talk a whole lot about the controversies, the scandals, and some other things. So stand by for that. We've got a lot to get into. This has been a long time coming for you and me. And we'll be back. So don't go anywhere. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're here with Jonathan DeBarros, who is running in a primary against Chris Shea for the Republican nomination in the 5th District to go up against Johanna Hayes. And you can find him at DeBarrosforCongress.com. You are still fundraising, I presume, right?
Yes, sir. That's DeBarrosforCongress.org. I can't see.
Yeah, .org. I apologize. DeBarrosforCongress.org. It's on there so people can see it if they're watching online. I was talking to you behind the scenes because I was saying it was Sanchez, the mayor of New Britain, and I went to go see him about some forensic van that they were doing. Mm-hmm. And I said, I told Sanchez, hey, I'd love to talk to you. I understand you're friends with Mimi Torres's dad. He brought him to a homeschooling, some sort of, whatever it was, the city hall thing. So I said, I'd love to get in touch with you. So Sanchez, of course, naturally just says, hey, talk to my chief of staff and, we'll get you the number. So his chief of staff gives me a card. And it's got some scribble on it. And I looked down at it. I don't take the card. I just looked at it. I said, I can't read that. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else? Or you want to write the actual name down? So he took the card and he put it back in his pocket. He says, well, I can't help you then. So I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, what? He's like, well, you don't want to take the card. I can't help you. I said, dude, all you have to do is write it down. You don't have to be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be disrespectful ever. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask you anything untoward. Your boss said to give me a contact information so I could reach out to him, and you were being dismissive of me. You don't even know me, and you're not in charge here. You work for him, the guy who told you to give me the contact. What's your issue? And he tried to play smug, to which I tell these bozos, I have a job to do. But if this were any other place, I would slap you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't be disrespectful. Nobody's disrespectful to you. Mm-hmm. And I do take an affront to people who are disrespectful, especially when you're being professional and kind. Mm-hmm. The reason why I brought that up to you is because I remember, I understand when you came to Ben Proto, and this is the reason why you are really up in arms about this. Mm-hmm. When you came to Ben Proto and you said to him, I want to help you. I think I can beat Johanna Hayes. That dismissal is enough to make you go, what? Mm-hmm. Because, again, you are doing the thing that you're supposed to do. You went to the person, showed him his respect, and said, I think I have a plan. And you expected to be at least heard out or heard, and you were dismissed. And that kind of started us down the road that we're on. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we return because you are going scorched earth. And so I want to make sure other people understand. Let's get Mark Christopher back here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun
and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hanging out with us for an extended period is Jonathan DeBarros, a candidate for the 5th District. He's in a primary against Chris Shea, and he is hoping to win that primary so he can go up against Johanna Hayes, a person he believes and he's certain of he can beat in that swing district of the 5th. You're positive of that?
I'm absolutely certain I could beat her. When I got the people, black women, from the hood. When I say the hood, I'm talking about Waterbury, Meriden, New Britain telling me they're going to vote for me because they tired of her BS. They're not going to vote for Chris Shea. They're going to vote for me because I talk to them and I'm inspiring them and I'm letting them know that I'm not going to forget about them when I get in office.
What is because I feel like the Republican Party has a concern that although you may be in the hood, you may be on the streets, that presence doesn't get results, that these people, when election day comes, are not going to show up at the polls. What kind of guarantees are you going to have? Because I will tell you, the first shock you threw to the Republican Party was the fact that many people said you wouldn't get 5% of the delegate vote. You came back with 22, which was, again, compared to the people who's supposed to know it all, that is a windfall beyond their scope, right? I mean, there were people who told me, crazy enough, that Betsy McCoy was going to come out with 30, maybe even 60%. Sorry, 15 to 30%. She came out with 8. And I've always said, these people don't know what they're talking about. They're a bunch of loudmouths who think, I've been around long enough, I know. Yeah. And they don't know. So here you walk away with 22% of the vote. You're definitely in it. You've got an opportunity to now reach out to the actual voter.
Yes.
To make your case. What do you say to those people who believe that just because you're in the street and just because you're telling people they're going to vote for you, that you will actually see those numbers?
Because I actively go into the community and I explain to people the difference between the governments, federal, state, local government. I give them civics training real quick, real fast, so that they can actually understand why nothing changes in their community. You know why we got low voter turnout in the urban community? It has absolutely nothing to do with government subsidized programs. It has everything to do with corruption. When you live in the city and they've been working on the same roads for 15, 20, 30 years and it still looks like crap and we're getting taxed to death, it doesn't give you any type of inspiration to go to the polls to actually vote.
People don't believe in those inner cities that their vote counts. They don't believe that one man, one vote. They don't believe in it. They just think that it's sort of a lost cause, that they have no real say. How do you inspire them to say that we need you en masse to show up and make your one vote count because all of you are showing up? How do you do that? How do you have that conversation?
Because they're inspired right now because I'm on the ballot.
Okay.
And they understand. And I've been telling them, I said, listen, those white MAGA Trump supporters in the rural areas who you think are racist, they love me. They send me money. They donate to my campaign, their time. My whole staff is volunteers. I got a team of managers, grassroots, and they would do anything for my movement because they understand that my movement is the movement for the people. And that's inspiring the black community to get involved because they're like, damn, if they support Jonathan DeBarros, even though despite what they're saying about him online of being a murderer, being someone that did time in prison, these white people are backing him. We're gonna listen to Jonathan and we're gonna back him too. And they know I'm not gonna turn my back on him. So, and I'm going to look out for everybody in the 5th district. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care about your background and what you've been through, because at the end of the day, if the people in the urban community are successful, we're all going to be successful.
I said very early on when I got here that, I would listen to some of the speeches that you would do. I would listen to some of the things that you were doing online. And it was difficult for me to get on board in the sense of, throwing all my support at you, which I eventually did, and I still do. But it was kind of slow going for me because, again, I got to test a man before I figure out whether or not he's good for conservatism in general. But what I said to this audience very early on after we had our interview was that what the Republican Party was missing, and I think in a lot of ways you are, is how the two of you could be helpful to each other. I think the Republican Party is missing the outreach that you give them in the inner city that they are scared to death or are confused about approaching. You understand what I'm saying? It's like there are many of them that just, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again to the Republicans, as well as I do about the Democrats. In fact, Democrats are much more guilty of this than ever. They treat black people like they're trying to defuse a bomb. Do I pull the red wire or the white? They don't know. They do. They are scared to death. Can I give you an example? I'll never forget it. I was at some event. John Larson was being endorsed by Richard Blumenthal. Mm-hmm. And I was pressing John Larson about his calling ICE officers the SS. It was just after that. Mm-hmm. And we were in West Hartford. And as I was talking to him, he was having a conversation with me back and forth. His people wanted me to stop it because they knew he was going to say something that may have been, recordable. They were concerned that he might say something that would end up sort of viral. But I kept asking anyway. Kept going. One of his staffers put his hand and grabbed my elbow. And I stopped and I looked at him and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Don't you dare put your hands on me. Are you crazy? Do not touch me." Well, this man turned around and said, you would think he had been hit with a defibrillator. "I didn't mean anything. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." No, dude, you just don't touch people. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to turn around and say Black Lives Matter. Relax, homeboy. But you don't touch people. You don't put your hands on people. You don't do that. It's not that I'm black, don't touch me. It's don't touch me. You don't know me like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And so the way that he was so apologetic. He was talking to me. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, blah, blah, blah." I was like, chill out, homeboy. It's just don't touch me. Not don't touch me. I'm black. It may get on you. Yeah. It's weird. Don't weird out. And that's when I realized, holy crap, I could have used that to my advantage. Mm-hmm. I've used it before. Mm-hmm. I've actually gone into establishments without a mask during COVID, and I said, Black Lives Matter, and they would leave me alone. Mm-hmm. It's just the way that they are, because you know that there's some people who treat it like that. However, they should treat you like somebody who is an asset instead of a bomb thrower. On the opposite side, Jonathan, you need to extend an olive branch to them.
I've been extending. How many olive branches you want me to extend?
I don't know the level of which I'm asking you.
Listen, I've told people numerous times. I told Ryan Fazio, once he got on the ticket, I said, "Fazio, I got your back in the streets. You're going to need my support. I got your back." I seen him at the Daffodil Festival. He said, "Hey, Jonathan, I'm in the city." I'm like, "No, bro, you in Hubbard Park. You in the park, bro. I need to take you into the community to talk to the people, because if he does well, I do well. We got to work together."
Indeed.
And just like Mayor Ganem, right? Mayor Ganem in Bridgeport last year, they had an event for the formerly incarcerated because the Democrats are smart. Yep. They know that formerly incarcerated people can vote. You can vote right on parole. So they had a whole event for the formerly incarcerated. I went to Bridgeport. That's not my district, but I knew everybody that I did time with was going to be there.
Damn.
So I went. I went there, and I'm talking to these guys, and I brought Selena Rifkin, one of my good friends of mine.
Selena, love her.
Yeah. So Selena, she was with us, and she documented everything. And she wrote a piece for the CT Sentinel. And everybody I talked to, they were black and Hispanic, men and women that did time. They said, "Listen, I'm a registered Republican." Because of Trump. Because of his criminal justice reform.
Right.
Because of President Trump's first step back on criminal justice reform, over 40,000 people were released from prison who were serving time because of the 1994 crime bill.
Indeed.
That Joe Biden and Senator Strom Thurmond filibuster civil rights bill. Strom Thurmond. They wrote that crime bill that made 5 grams of crack cocaine equivalent to 500 grams of powder, because they knew that crack was predominantly in the black community, and they put us in prison. So a lot of our people, they're registered as Republicans, but they're not inspired to actually vote because no Republicans go into the urban communities to talk to them.
Because they're scared to death of them.
Exactly. And I told Rob Sampson and Steve Hardin at the Capitol, because I'm always up there with the homeschool parents, but I'm the only person that went, I'm talking about Republican candidate, that stood with the formerly incarcerated who were trying to pass a bill that was sponsored by Julie Crazy Kushner and all the other radical Democrats, right? I knew the bill was going to get passed regardless what the Republicans
Sure.
It was based upon the brain study saying that the adolescent brain isn't fully mature until the age of 25. So they wanted to revisit people who were currently incarcerated that spent 30 years in prison, but they committed a crime before the age of 25, to reevaluate them to see if they're eligible for parole.
For parole, yes. Right? I do remember that bill.
I told Rob Sampson and Steve Hardin, they walked right by me in the hallway while I'm standing with these guys. I said, "Rob, I want to introduce you to some people." I said, "Rob, you better jump on this." I said, we need to come out with a conservative reentry program for people who are formerly incarcerated so that we could guide them into the vocational training, give them an
industry,
aptitude test, industries, and pair them with conservative business owners so that they could be, put guardrails in place so that they could be mentored with conservative values.
Right.
They don't want to do it. I'm like, because they got to play like they're tough on crime. I'm like, you could be tough on crime, but also
have an off ramp.
Exactly. Because these people are going to come out home regardless.
Right.
And the only plan the Democrats got for them is vote for us. Yeah. They don't got no freaking economic opportunity plans.
Right.
Vote for us. We're going to give you some.
There is no opportunity for them.
No. It's just go vote for us and we're going to give you some Section 8 housing, or we're going to give you a halfway house and some medical insurance off of your dime.
Yeah.
If we give them an opportunity to be successful, to work and to pay into the system instead of being a burden, they could be an asset to our communities.
Correct.
It's going to reduce the tax burden on everybody else. It's going to reduce the crime rate. And now we got leaders in our community that's going to lead everybody to the Republican Party.
Do you think that it is an unfair charge that you are not, I don't know. You cannot, you have a very aggressive way. Mm-hmm. And I get it. I'm to be honest with you, I love your fire. I love your passion. I just don't think that the people of Connecticut have ever seen anybody who's such a firebrand. Do you ever think of moderating it? The only reason why I'm asking you, not saying that you should, I'm asking you whether or not you should. Have you tried that before, and has that even gotten you a little bit of leeway?
Now you ask me to be somebody I'm not.
Okay.
And if I got to be,
I knew what I was going to get.
If I got to be someone I'm not, I don't want to do it.
I hear you.
Listen, if you want your kids to get his balls chopped off without your consent, or forced to get jabbed with a vaccine because nobody's fighting. This is what I'm fighting for. I got a parent in my district. His name is Charlie Smith. His daughter was taken away from him by DCF
because he refused to affirm her.
Yeah, exactly. To a board. They wanted to put her on puberty blockers. They took his daughter from the home and gave his daughter to two gay married men all the way on the other side of the state in Waterford. And they put her on puberty blockers against his consent and billed his insurance.
Damn, they billed him?
Yes.
Holy moly.
And he spent thousands of dollars fighting to get his daughter back, and he lost the case because of the bills that's on our books that Democrats and Republicans voted on. That's why I was going after Senator Tony Wong and some of our other senators, because they compromised themselves and voted with the Democrats for these bills that's affecting people in my district.
Stand by, because when we come back, that's a lot of your fire. Every time I've ever heard you speak, you have called out members of the Republican Party. This is where it gets a little deep. And the reason why I say it a little deep is because, a lot of my colleagues in radio say that the worst thing that we can do as Republicans is call out our own because the Democrats are unified. They're not. I wish that people would stop saying that. They're not unified right now, trust me. They're fighting each other in burlap sacks on who can go more left than the other. But I want to talk to you a little bit about that part, because what no one ever asked you, and I know because I watch your interviews, you know what they never ask you is why. And I want you to take an opportunity to explain why you go after your own party in the way that you do, so that you can articulate it. Guys, go nowhere. I think this is probably, for me, this is the meat of what you're doing in this race, and in your campaign overall. So I want to address that when we return. More with Jonathan DeBarros when we return. Let's get another check on traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right. Jonathan DeBarros is here. We're going to continue to talk to him. We're going to get to what I believe is the bottom of his bombastic nature. We're behind the scenes talking. We don't really, other than this weekend, we don't really get to talk all that much, but I'm reading your comments in the chat room. We'll get to those in a little bit as well. Yeah, what else am I saying? Oh, yeah. And we'll get to the bottom of all of this as we wrap all of this stuff up. Also, I want to mention tomorrow, on the program. Let me make sure that I get my calendar up. Tomorrow we do not have anyone. Holy moly, no guests. I have to do a whole show by myself. We have a guest tomorrow? Oh, K9 for Connecticut Vets. That's right. My bad. Okay, K9 for Connecticut Vets. They'll be here tomorrow. Was it 4:40? Okay, 4:40. So we have one guest on the line. Well, at least it's just one guest. Don't forget, by the way, go online right now, WTIC.com. That's WTIC.com/vets. WTIC.com/vets. Make a donation. We're trying to reach $25,000 so that Tucker, that's this year's service dog, can be put together with a very deserving Connecticut vet. And you've heard all week we talked to plenty of people who are involved, people who have received vets through this program, and how wonderful their lives have become because of these service pets. So go to WTIC.com/vet, WTIC.com/vet. What? Oh, and we'll be on the stream tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Oh, as early as 3? Okay, so we got the Red Sox tomorrow as well. So please, after 3 o'clock, then you go to WTIC.com. If you want to watch the program, you'll go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. So we'll be online tomorrow at 3, which is probably why I'll bring Roseanne in, because, every time we go online, we bring Roseanne. She says, you only bring me on when the Red Sox are playing. The show's fun when she's here. So we'll get into all that. So stand by. So much more to get into as well. More with Jonathan DeBarros, and we'll get to the bottom of why he has pretty much had the approach that he has had thus far. We got to the beginning about his conversation with Ben Proto, where we are thus far. We'll try to get into that. We'll spend as much time as we possibly can before we end the show. I think we'll be able to fill it all in the next. You think 17 minutes is enough time? We'll try. Mark Christopher's back. He's getting you home. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, live and direct, Mr. Jonathan DeBarros running in a primary against Chris Shea for the 5th District, the GOP 5th District nomination to go up against Joanna Hayes. So before the break, I teased the fact that you are in a lot of ways going after your own party. And no one has ever bothered to ask you why.
Exactly.
They all said that they hate it and they have a problem with it, but no one has asked you why. Explain to everyone why.
Because our own party has been in our way. This is the reason why we haven't won a federal election in 20 years. This is the reason why we lost 29 towns. As you discovered or discussed yesterday with Ben Proto, benefiting from Democrat policies that are affecting conservative towns, forcing them to accept Democrat zoning regulations for low-income housing units in which they were taxed all of us for Section 8 housing. Especially when I started to look into their bills. See, the thing is when people start pushing against common sense, because common sense is you need to go into the cities to talk to the people. And when they're pushing back against that, I have to ask myself, why? And the easy thing to say is they're racist. I don't like calling people racist because I think that's a cheap shot. I want to know why they're doing what they're doing. And I started to look into...
Or not doing what
they're doing. Or not doing.
Yeah.
And I started to look into the voting records. I started looking at the bills, the roll calls. And one of the main things that made me look into that was Mr. Charlie Smith when they took his daughter. And I went through the case, the transcripts from the court filings, because I wanted to understand how was it that he lost this case.
Yeah.
And his daughter. And I looked at the bill and I started looking at the bill, who voted on the bill. And then I saw that the bill had bipartisan support.
Yeah.
So now I started to look at the senators and state reps that voted for this in the House and in the Senate. And I'm like, how are they getting away with this nonsense? Just like Tony Wong down there in Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
When I started to expose him, because out of the 11 Republican state senators, he was the only one that voted for SB 7. Mm-hmm. SB 7 was a bill in which our state government wanted to go into partnership with an NGO by the name of Safe Harbor. Now, Safe Harbor, what they do is they groom children and they find them from all over the country, children who may be in a state in which they can't get sex change surgeries, minors. Safe Harbor was going to partner with Connecticut to fly these kids into our state so that our state could be a safe harbor for trans kids with or without parental consent. We were going to take them, put them in hotels, pair them with surgeons so that the surgeons could perform these surgeries on these minors. And the doctors had a blanket immunity so that they can't be sued. And in the law,
in the event that there's a botched surgery, which there are plenty.
Exactly. And in the law, it prevented investigators from outside the state to come into our state to find out what was going on. And I'm like, who the hell voted for this? Every Democrat voted for this. And we had one Republican senator that voted for it, and it was Tony Wong.
Hold on. Let's sure we understand each other, because I know you're about to go down another path on this. But again, this is essential to understand.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You see that as a conservative value, and something that egregious is a betrayal. Yeah?
Yes.
And that is the reason, again, that is one reason why you said, and you took this bill and then you started, in essence, it opened up a floodgate of other things you started to investigate, yes, which said, these are completely against all the things that we claim that we're saying is a conservative value here in Connecticut. We cannot be compromising our principles for these things.
Exactly.
And this was you saying, in essence, you kind of being a Paul Revere here going, yo, this is not our party. Who are these people?
Exactly.
Okay.
They're Democrats that infiltrated our party. Joe Paletta, state representative in the Watertown area, blocked me from going to the RTC for a long period of time until I was able to get in there. But by the time they already made up their mind that they was going to endorse Chris Shea without even hearing him speak, he got the endorsement. So I looked into his record. I found out that he voted for a bill about underage kids being able to get access to abortions without parental consent, right? Underage kids. So if your 12-year-old daughter is being molested,
trafficked even,
by a 30-year-old man, he could cover it up because all he got to do is go down there and get the abortion. And you would never know about it. Joe Paletta voted for that. He's a Republican. So, and these people play the game that they're Italian, they're Catholic, and they're conservative, but yet when I call them out,
you're the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. But I'm pro-life. So my whole thing is, if I'm pro-life, I'm not going to just bash Johanna Hayes. You ain't going to use me to bash this black woman because you too scared to do it. But yet when I call out these Italian rhinos, I hate Italians, and I'm not supposed to talk about Republicans.
Right.
You people are full of crap, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right. So, in essence, is it unfair to say that Jonathan DeBarros is making Republicans stand or be able to stand up to a purity test? I guess that's the best way to phrase it. Are you asking them to withstand a purity test as a conservative? Now, I don't have an argument. Look, I don't have an argument with where you stand. If was it Wong?
Tony Wong.
Tony Wong, yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
The Tony Wong thing and the Paletto thing, both of those no offense. That's a compromise I cannot. To me, if you're a Republican, you can't come to me and say, but no, you can't. That's wrong.
Now, let me tell you the crazy thing. Gerardo Reyes from the 75th district that our friend Faith DeLee's running against in Waterbury, Hispanic, Boricua. His voting record is horrible. He's a Democrat. Horrible.
Right.
And he voted against that bill that Paletta voted for because he knew it was wrong.
Right. Yeah, no, okay. I totally get it.
I mean, you're making it easier for pedophiles to get away with molesting kids.
And for you, that's a line that cannot be crossed.
Exactly.
So I guess the best way to put this, if I can, is you believe that if you have to stand up to make the point as to why you are going after Republicans who are not steadfast or stark conservatives against Democrat rule in this state, it has to be on an egregious level. You're not upset with a Republican who might vote for a bipartisan bill on, I don't know,
traffic cams.
Yeah, traffic cams, like something like that.
Cams.
That's not a.
Yeah. But when you talk about this slush fund that our state minority leader Steve Harden is always talking about, the $500 million slush fund, I get kind of peed off when I see Heather Summers standing behind you when she voted for it. We had 3 Connecticut state Republicans that voted for Ned Lamont to have that so-called emergency slush fund.
$500 million slush
and that was Joe Perella, and it was Tony Wong again, and Heather Summers.
Well, Huang is about to be out of here, right?
Yeah.
He
needs to go now. But I'm just saying, how can you justify you talking about Ned Lamont slush fund when your colleague's standing behind you and she voted for it?
Okay.
I think they should be called out, because that's going to teach them a lesson and teach everybody else a lesson that certain things are unforgivable.
So there are people who listen to this program, and there are people, again, friends to the program, who say that the biggest problem they have with this state is that there is a uniparty. However, you need to be a member of said. I guess you have to be an elected member of I guess Congress would be your plight here. How do you do the thing that you're doing and not alienate those who wish to support you? Like, how do you balance that?
What I'm doing is I'm fighting to free the Republican Party from being controlled opposition against the Democrats. And the only way we're going to do it is we got to clean our house up, like you've been saying. If you don't clean your own house up, how you going to talk about somebody else's house? And this is what the unaffiliated voters have been waiting for, and this is what the independents are waiting for. They've been waiting for someone to come and stand up and clean up the house. And then they're going to come home to the Republican Party because it's going to be a clean home.
I don't think that anybody has ever said it clearer than that. Why haven't they asked you this before?
Because they don't want the answer. They know the answer already. And now we got to start following the money to find out why they haven't been saying anything.
You know that this is, I'll put it to you this way. Do you know, and I don't know if you know this, you got to win in order to make a change. But you've got some headwinds against you that you may be creating on your own. You do understand that, right? Like you're not oblivious to this, right?
No, this is a calling that God put in my heart. This is Judgment Day. They got to pay for what they're doing. Look how many babies they murdered. Look how many children have been stripped away from their parents' home unjustifiably because they've been indoctrinated with a Marxist agenda in the public school system, where they're so confused they don't even know what gender they are. It has to stop. So if Ben Proto don't want to do it, I'm going to do it.
So the Republican Party doesn't want to do it. You just have to do it on your own.
Yes.
Nobody makes...
As a Republican. And right. I'm not asking permission. God's my campaign manager, and I'm going to listen to him.
You really, really make it hard to dislike you. You know that? The reason why? Because I'll be honest, I see a lot of myself in you. I do. And there's a part of me that just says, Jonathan, I want you to win, but I want you to win with less of the abrasiveness. But you know what? Having sat down with you now for about an hour and a half, I got to let you do your thing. And I'll say from the bottom of my heart, dude, go out there and kick every one of their asses. I'm dead serious. Go out there and prove every one of them wrong. Go out there and get this thing done. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Do not let them thwart you in any way.
Yes, sir.
You understand that? Because as I said earlier, about an hour or so before you got here, that they've got to have a come to Jesus moment, or the corruption has to be gone after. Right?
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Right.
And it doesn't get done until somebody actually makes the sacrifice and gives everything of themselves to put an end to it, to save everything that is about this state. Because I know that you love this state. I love this state. And I ain't even from here. But the only way it gets saved is that people have to sacrifice themselves.
Yes.
That they have to make that sacrifice to get these people, to get this right, because there's so much more to this.
Yeah.
You're getting emotional here.
Yeah, man. especially when it comes to the kids, yo. Like, my thing is,
yeah,
I'm here for this. Like, I'm gonna tell you how deep this is. When my wife didn't even want me to do this. We flew to Texas. We looked at 15 homes. We were gonna move because we thought Kamala Harris was gonna win. When Trump won, we had prayer teams. We knew that we had a chance to win when Trump won because they threw everything at him. I told my wife, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna flip this district because I already studied it. And she was nervous. She didn't want to do it. We went to our pastor. They prayed. She thought they was gonna pray over me to get me to change my mind. My pastor was like, no, we've been praying for somebody to stand up. And I told my wife, I said, for your protection, I'm willing to give you a divorce because I'm going all the way in. Whether they kill me or put me back in jail, I'm going all the way through with this, and I don't want to put you in danger. And she prayed, and she said, I'm sticking with you. So that's how far I'm willing to go for this. So I'm already ready. Whatever they got for me, bring it. Because I'm on borrowed time anyway. I had a life sentence. God overturned my conviction. He raised me. I studied Marcus Aurelius, Plato's Republic, the Holy Bible. God molded me in prison to prepare me to be his weapon to destroy this system that I'm fighting against right now. And I'm willing to die for it. So whoever's listening, whatever you got planned for me, God got a bigger plan. And you need to fear him, not me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Jonathan DeBarros. I'm very, very happy that we did this, and I'm glad you came in early. It was an opportunity to really, really have you here. And I'm be honest with you, dude, I don't think I've ever felt that kind of passion from somebody who wants to get into this fray because it's dirty and it's ugly. But you know what? I know you love this. I know you love this state. I know you love that district. I know you want to fight for those people. More people need to start thinking about their role in this game or in this system and know that they are public servants. This means a lot to me to hear this. And your emotion is palpable in this. I've never seen you like this, but I know that it matters to you. And I really, really respect it. I respect it more than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, go to his website, DeBarrosforCongress.org. He needs your help. And in order for him to win this race, it's going to take a lot in him, but it's also going to take a lot of you, especially those in the 5th District. So we hope that you will assist him in doing that because it isn't going to change until we are willing to make that change. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.